Hi guys, hi guys, hi guys. Alright. I have something for you to share for you for today. Alright, we got Eldra, which is rough. Alright now. Eldra, long ago, one of the Ascended created a mortal. In truth, they had been experimenting on life to create a simulacra of our creation and to make themselves into a god. However, each attempt was a failure, so they dumped each broken mind, each distorted body, each failed attempt after failed attempt into their lair until one day they experimented on a hero. A former member of the cult of protagonism who had been put in a coma and said to awaken one day as the chosen one who would finally defeat the curse of Arachne, the Dark Lord, once and for all. So the slain Empress, decided to experiment on her and made her into a monster and a human. A cursed existence that had to eat monsters to survive, or risk losing her humanity and be turned into an eldritch nightmare. However, some heroes broke into the lair of the slain Empress, and while they defeated many of the experiments, Eldra was human-looking, so was instead captured and taken into the human world. Eldra would basically be forced to fall in love with a king who basically took her as a bride, without much input from her due to her beauty, but she had to, hide her, own cursed nature from him until it was exposed by some of the cults of protagonism, who were, kind of suspicious of her. Who, after a fierce battle, would be, and she, after a fierce battle, would be sealed away, and she would be declared a new incarnation of the Dark Lord. And the king, thinking he had been deceived into falling in love with them, and the king, thinking he had been deceived into falling in love with the monster. Many centuries would go by with her sealed away, while the legend of her being a Dark Lord successor would still spread to this day. But the seal eventually cracked, and Eldra was able to gain more control over herself and her body and her powers now, and no longer needed to eat monsters or risk losing her humanity. Though she terrified people who watched, though she terrified the people who watched over her when her who watched over her seal, who tried to fight her before she escaped, and she would go into hiding as an alert, and the people who were terrified of her, put out an alert that was released and then spread, and then people like heroes and adventurers would be sent to find her and defeat her. Though now she only wanted to live in peace now, but she always found herself in conflict with the Church of Protagonism regardless. In the end, she would actually obtain the spider's curse and hunt down her old master and their servants, the Ascended, who did this to her. When after all, when she defeated one of them, a rush of memories and humanity came from her past came back to her. So maybe it could be restored. And in the end, it was the spider's curse, the power of the Dark Lord, that did this, and had given her new strength and purpose. Not only that, she would find true love who would, support her, despite her seemingly monstrous nature. Oh, and she resembles a humanoid tentacle monster similar to a humanoid Lovecraftian horror of old. Alright, Alright, now, this is kind of a bit of a rough one, so I apologize if it's not really that, good. Anyway, thank you for listening, and I hope you had plenty of fun. Remember to fly like bat and shine like the moon, for weird stuff dreams are made of. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And give me your name. Yes, you should give me your name, yeah. So you can be mine forever and ever and be one with me. And never ever leave.